Welcome to the I Am You podcast. I am your host, Dr. Nitza Alvarez, a board-certified cardiologist and best-selling author. My hope with this podcast is to share stories so women can speak up and become the CEO of their own health. I am a cardiologist. I am a wife. I am a mother. My story is your story. I am you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of I Am You podcast. Today, you're up for a treat. I'm joined by Mary Lou Morrissey, who is going to be sharing her story through the healthcare journey with us. And Mary Lou is a fun person to have today in the podcast. Mary Lou, welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm nervous to be here.
Well, it is not an uncommon feeling that people have, but I told you that it's going to be just you and me and then just having conversations. So for the women that are listening to us, they can learn a little bit through your journey. How can they become better advocates? And just listening to your story and understanding that out there are things that can be done to make a woman feel better and improve their quality of life. Yeah. So I thank you for accepting to sit in this chair today, even when you are nervous.
It's a good thing because my cardiologist is sitting right there.
Just in case something happened.
When the blood pressure goes.
Okay, Mary Lou. Let's start talking about shortness of breath. No, you were seeing a cardiologist prior to establishing in my practice. And I don't know if there was somebody else even before that other cardiologist, but one of the things that it was very prevalent in your story was the complaint of shortness of breath, not how you were expressing, I'm short of breath. So for the audience, it's important to understand that the reason why I'm bringing this up is because shortness of breath in so many occasions is being ignored and dismissed. And it can be the only sign that something is wrong with the heart. And unless you are recognizing that, you can go feeling short of breath for a very long time and not taking care of your heart, thinking that it can be anything else but your heart. And you started telling me you were seeing this other cardiologist, and share with the audience what was your experience and how do you end up changing your provider?
I was going to him and he kept giving me more medications. And I kept saying, my shortness of breath is getting worse. I don't feel like this is working. I said, he would tell me, well, go to see your pulmonologist. I also have COPD, but the COPD is not bad compared to what it was. And he kept giving me more medication. Well, my friend said to me, you need to go to my doctor.
So your friend was already seeing me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's how you end up with me?
Yep.
Okay.
She went to your office and got the packet, brought it to me, and said, fill this out and I'll take it and turn it in for you.
So there was like no choice for you.
I didn't have a choice. She said, you're going.
Were you scared of seeing another doctor, or you were excited or looking forward because you didn't have a good understanding of what was happening with you? Why did she say, go to my doctor?
Because we weren't happy with the way things were going at my cardiologist.
Okay. So she was advocating for you.
Oh, yeah.
She noticed that what was going on is like, okay, you're still having the same problem.
This is not
We're
right.
not making progress. And then so she was looking after you and said, well, let's go and seek care elsewhere and see if we can actually understand a little better what is happening with you.
Right.
So for the audience, I want to emphasize that shortness of breath is sometimes can be a little complex because so many things can make you short of breath. And when somebody look at somebody like you, Mary Lou, and it's easy to attribute it to simple things like, oh, it can be your lungs, you're getting old, or you're a little overweight. And then they stop there and they don't try to understand what else can be making somebody like you short of breath. And you mentioned the COPD and you said, but I have my pulmonary specialist and it wasn't as bad to justify why I was feeling so poor. Was your shortness of breath mostly related to activities like little things that you were trying to do were making you short of breath, or it was all the time?
I just felt like I couldn't do anything. You know, if I walked, I couldn't breathe. If I did the dishes, I had to go sit down. If I cooked, I had to go sit down. I couldn't do anything.
Very limiting for you.
I couldn't breathe. It just wouldn't come in. I couldn't do it.
Very limiting. Okay, so shortness of breath in the cardiac world can mean a lot of things. But in your case, there was an obvious reason, and that is diastolic heart failure, and you were on the wrong medications. Yes? So when we met and we go over, trying to understand what is going on with you, and we identify that we need to work on adjusting your medications to improve this. And then we also discover that the mechanism for your shortness of breath, it was related to the heart, and we could make your quality of life better if we could treat that the way that needed to be treated. Does that make a difference in your symptoms?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Big difference.
So changing, when we started changing your medications, and I know, of course, it's a journey. And we said, okay, let's be patient. We're going to get there. We're going to start working on it. So why it's so important that I mentioned this is because when the women that are listening to us, and we said, okay, listen, it's just a matter of understanding what the problem is so you can treat it properly. You know, when I said the analogy that I said, if you don't know how an apple look like, if I ask you to go to the grocery store and bring me an apple, unless it's labeled, you're not going to be able to bring it because you don't know how it look like. So you're standing in front of a cardiologist. You're sharing your inability to exercise, how limiting your life is, how poor quality of life you have because of this shortness of breath. And they kept saying, go and check your lungs. It's not your heart. We did all the testing. It's not your heart. But then finding the right diagnosis is so critical to make that switch. And then said, it was my heart. And it didn't have to be something catastrophic. It's not that I was going to die from this, but my quality of life was so poor that mine as well. You know, what was life for you? So making the right diagnosis, identifying what the problem was, and then we switch the medication, and that improve your symptoms.
Right.
In the journey, we also discover, and this actually is very common, go hand in hand, patients that have diastolic heart failure, which for the audience, diastolic heart failure is a very common diagnosis for women and is not necessarily well recognized or identified, because when we do, normally for diagnosis of heart failure, we do an ultrasound of the heart, and then if the heart looks strong, people don't think about heart failure. But for a woman, a strong heart is normal. It's the inability of the heart from relaxing that causes their shortness of breath when they're doing activity. That's why for you it's so limiting, because if something doesn't relax well, if you take a man or a woman that is very, very, very strong and muscular, and you make them do yoga, they might not be able to stretch very well. And then now you make them do it fast, then it's harder. So the same for the heart. For a woman, looking at the echocardiogram and seeing that the heart looks normal doesn't mean that it's normal. We have to make some particular measurements, look for some markers in the blood to be able to identify, this is their problem. You also have dysfunction of the small vessels of the heart, which comes hand in hand with the heart that doesn't relax properly. And I mentioned this because we propose that you go through a therapy that we call EECP. And that is when the fun starts for Mary Lou. Look at that face. It just light up.
It was a big difference. Big difference.
Okay, so talk to us about EECP.
Would I do it again? Give me an appointment right now. I'll go.
Awesome.
Because it just made such a big difference. I noticed about the second time that when I walked out of that office out to the parking lot, which is 900 miles away.
You're such an exaggerated woman. I cannot.
It was. I mean, for me, it was like walking from the car into the building. I'd have to stop halfway just to breathe. I have to stop because the whole heart's going, beating out of my chest. And the second day that I had gone through it, I walked from the building out to the car and didn't stop once. So, yeah. So it made all the difference in the world.
For the women that don't know what EECP is, EECP stand for Enhanced External Counterpulsation. It's a therapy that was invented many years ago by the Chinese. There was a moment in history where we only have open heart surgery to manage our patients, and there was no stents. And there were patients that were too high risk for go for surgery. So this therapy was created to help the heart, relax the arteries better, and to create new vessels, help create collateral circulation. In our time in history, is super valuable, still valuable for those patients that are not candidate for any other therapy, but also for women that suffer from angina in the form of shortness of breath, where the heart doesn't relax properly, is also great for management of your condition, diastolic heart failure or microvascular disease. So do you want to tell the audience, how does that look like? Just create a mental picture for them. What do we do? When you come into the office, it's a therapy that requires your presence in the office.
Oh, yeah.
We do 35 sessions, 1 hour every day, Monday through Friday. So you become family, so you get to know everybody in the office because you come in every day.
First name basis.
Mm-hmm. So the first time that you received the therapy, was it weird for you how we were getting you ready and how the machine works?
It was a little bit strange because I'm kind of claustrophobic. And when you lay me on a table and you strap me down.
You never been strapped down before, Mary Lou? Not like that.
Not like that.
Okay,
no.
got it. I knew it. So when Mary Lou says strap me down, is because we put blood pressure cuffs in the legs, and we are connected to a machine that is actually measuring the cardiac cycle. So at the beginning, it feels like, okay, so now I am attached. I'm part of this bed, And the blood pressure cuffs will inflate. That's how we push the blood inside the heart to promote the relaxation of the arteries or the development of new vessels. It's just kind of like, because it's new. No, it's a new thing for you. But then, as you said, as the day were going by, then I'm like, okay, I already know what to expect. And I feel better. So it's worth going through the therapy. We do have some videos to show people how does that look like. It's a fun stuff. We call it the boom boom room for a reason.
Boom.
The boom boom room.
Boom 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 boom.
Yes. So I think that one of the messages that I want the audience to take from your story is EECP is not something that is recognized by a lot of people. Many women don't know that exists. In the era that stents have become so readily available and so easy to fix blockages, EECP is not a therapy that is common for people. However, I told you it's old. This is not new. And the more we understand that heart disease in women is different and it doesn't necessarily is blockages, which is what stents are meant to do, then the value of EECP plays a significant role in their lives. With you, it was an amazing impact in terms of quality of life. That's what you said, give me an appointment today, I go, because it's just such a different feeling for you. And it's important for other women to know that this exists, no?
Yeah.
So now when you look at people and you hear people saying, I'm short of breath and my doctor tells me they don't know that I don't have anything to go and get my lungs checked, you have a message for them, no?
Oh, yeah. Go see Dr. Alvarez.
Because she will try to figure out
Because she will figure out what's going on.
And I think that, I love when you guys say go and see Dr. Alvarez, but I love it because it gives hope to people, because there are other Dr. Alvarez out there. They don't have my name, but there are others out there.
Yeah, but they aren't you.
Well, that's for sure. But what I'm trying to make here is that I want for a world where a woman don't have to struggle so much to find a provider that will listen to them and will understand that every place they go, they can find a Dr. Alvarez that said, I know exactly what you have. And then they can actually listen to them and adjust their therapy in order to not only save their life, improve their quality of life as well. So the idea of doing this podcast or doing events like the event that we just recently did in February,
That was
Dreaming
awesome.
Like a Woman, or the book, and all this material that we're trying to create for women is precisely that. So we don't have to be lucky or blessed that you and I, for example, already have a relationship. We want for women elsewhere to be able to go to their doctor and have that Dr. Alvarez there for them.
Right.
Don't you wish that for them too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I said if I could clone myself, I would do it. But I know there is a lot of providers out there that can actually help us to accomplish that for our women, because ultimately that is our goal: saving our woman's life, helping them advocate for themselves. And like you had an advocate that came and told you, we're going to go somewhere else. And you were open to be okay with, let me go. And you took that leap of faith. And I'm so glad that you decided to come and see me. And I'm so grateful to God that you're feeling much better.
Oh, I am. I am.
I'm so happy. Thank you for accepting to be here today.
You're welcome.
And this takes us to an end of another episode of I Am You. Thank you for joining us. I hope this episode has empowered you to be the CEO of your own health. Tune into our next episode, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at NITZAMD. To explore more on this and related topics, visit our website, NITZAMD.com. If this episode resonated with you, please like and subscribe. And one more thing, share with the wonderful woman in your life.